Welcome back. Now this is episode 2. In this episode, we will first start off with writing our first program. It's called Hello World. It will display Hello World as a text onto your console. And after that, I will explore the concept of variable with you guys. If you guys haven't checked out the first video, which I show you how to download Eclipse, please download it. And if you use other IDE, it's fine. But I will highly recommend Eclipse. And without further ado, let's jump in. Now, let's get into the code. So remember this? This is the project that we created from last episode. Now we will add in a file for our code, and we can start coding in it. So let's go to source. You right click on it and add new class. I'll explain what is a class later on in the series, but for now, just go with what I'm doing right now. And let's name it main. And in here, you want to select public static void main. Click finished. And this should pop up. Yeah, you might not know what this means exactly, but as I said, when we go over class, it would all make sense. And for now, we will write code within these two curly brackets right here, and the compiler would translate this code and run this code. So you see right here what this is? This is just a comment. It doesn't do anything. How do you know it's a comment? It's because it has a double slash right here. You see the double slash right there? When you have a double slash, anything that goes after it is a comment. You can type in anything you want. And it doesn't do anything. And let's write our first code. So what our first program will be is we want to print a line, a sentence, right? So let's say hello world, and we ended with a semicolon. So this line right here will print this text within the quotation mark. Let's run it and see what happens. But in the console, look, it says hello world. And you can change anything you want inside this quotation marks. You can make it coding with team is the best YouTube channel. I mean, it's true, right? And let's run it. Coding with him is the best YouTube channel. And you can change anything you want within this quotation mark. And you can add in basically any word, and it can be any length as well. What this means is that the meaning is actually kind of complicated for now because we haven't touched on classes or functions. But for most people on their first program, Java program, most people just simply ignore the explanation because it's simply we haven't get to that concept yet. But I would like to talk about it, even though it might not click for you for now, but I believe it will click for you later. So what it essentially means is that system, it's a class that's built in Java, and then what you're doing right now is you're calling that system class, and then you're accessing the out, and then you're using the function called print line, and it takes in this quotation mark and whatever is inside, and then it prints it onto your console. Now let's start talking about variables. Let me get Professor Lee for you. he will teach you the concept. He is pretty good at explaining concept. Let me call him. Hello, Professor Lee? Could you please teach about how to code in variable hello? Hello? Yeah, Tim, yeah. What? You want me to teach variables? You know who I am? My name is Professor Lee. I have 3 PhD in computer science. You want me to you want me to teach variable? Huh? You crazy? Did he just head on the call? I'm gonna call him again. I'm gonna tell him that. He's gonna be really pissed after this. Professor Lee, huh? You call yourself Professor Lee? You're just an average student who watches anime all the time. You don't have 3 degrees in PhD. You don't have that. You're just a freaking weeb.
A few moments later.
Why? Why did this happen to me? I just want to be a professor to fulfill the dream of my ancestors. Why? Editor, please cut this out, please.
2 hours later.
I'll explain to you what variable is. Variable is something that it's similar to the math concept of variable. And I bet some of you guys hate math and probably thinking, why am I clicking on this video? I should have tried even think about coding. Coding is probably something just like math, and I hate math. And math just doesn't make sense to me. And if I'm gonna close the video right now. Give me a second. Coding is not really math intensive, as you see. In fact, most of the video in this tutorial will be the math level of it will be even lower than my 10-year-old brother. That means that there's not gonna be any geometry, or we won't solving any equation, or even calculus or trick. No, none of that. And I will ensure you that you will be able to understand this pretty well. Well, but there is the similarity to it. In math, variable can be something like x equal to 1, right? And when you say 2 times x, and the value will be equal to 2. And in programming, I would like to think variable as a box. A box like this. Hopefully this looks like a box to you. And my art skill is pretty garbage, but let's store a value in it, 10. And on this box, there's also a name tag of the box that identifies what box it is. And we can call it anything we want. I'm gonna call it food. I don't know. I'm probably hungry right now. Probably that's why. And food. And when we make this variable, we go to our memory slots and we create a slot and we store the value 10 minutes and we add the name tag food on it. And so whenever we call food in our code, it will go through the memory slot and find this slot right here and retrieve the value in it, which is 10. And that's basically what a variable is. But the differences between a variable and math is that the variable in programming has many different kind of types. The first type is integer, short for int. It stores values like 1, 2, -3, and 999. That's pretty simple. We get that. It's kind of just like math. And as we move on, we have variable like double, which is also another really common one. And it stores a decimal, like 1.2, negative 0.5, 213.44, value like that. But as we move on, there's also other kind of variable inside coding, and this is also a really common one called string. What string is basically an arrangement of letters, and it stores variable and value like Professor Lee, and you can store words like anime, and even a sentence like coding is cool. Probably not true, but to me it is. And moving on, the last one I will tell you about, which I believe is the most common one and is probably the most useful one, Boolean. What is unique about Boolean is that it only stores two instances of data. A Boolean variable is either true or false. And I believe this is really useful, and you will see why later on. There's also other kind of variable outside, and I'll just explain these four, the most common one, and you can learn about those by searching them up, like char. It's a pretty cool one as well. And with that being said, I will give the rest to Tim, and he will teach you how to code these four most common variables in Eclipse. And I'm Professor Lee, I'm signing out. Hopefully Professor Lee didn't give us a hard time after I severely damaged his self-esteem. Anyways, let's implement variables into code. Let's start off with integer first. Well, int, short for integer. You see the orange sign? I mean, it automatically becomes orange. That means that it recognizes it. And let's name the variable num, which is short for number. Let's set it equals to, I guess, 2. And if you want to change the number, what you probably were thinking off the bat is just num times 2. But that's incorrect. You can see that there's a red line under it. So what this does is that it returns a value of number and multiplies by 2. But there's nothing to return to, right? So a simple way to solve this would be just adding num equals num times 2. What this does is that it finds the box of which represent the variable, and it set it equals to the value of the box num multiplies by 2. So now num equals to 4. And one way we can prove it is that we can print it out. And this is how you print out the variable. Simply just put in the name of the variable and you can print it out. And let's run it. Four. Very nice. And now let's move on to other variables. Let's do double for now. Double, let's call it decimal num equals to, I guess, 213.99. And we can try to divide the number. We can say decimal slash num equals decimal slash num divided by 4, I guess. And now we can print it out to see should that give me. Oh, I forgot a T. Okay. And now, let's run it. Now, that's the answer. And let's move on to string. String will be a different implementation. Well, let's call it string word, and that's equals to, I guess, anything up to my mind. I'll do anime. String word equals anime, and we can print it out and see. Oh, that's the wrong function. Print it out word. just system that out, that print line, and then inside there, just slap in word, and let's run it. Anime. Well, you see right here that there's a quotation mark around it. That's what I meant, because if you just put anime, it will have this red line because it doesn't know what this is. You have to put a quotation around it so that the compiler knows that, oh, you're feeding it a string. And last but not least, boolean. Boolean, you just type out the full word boolean, and the variable, let's get state, or it can be a state of true or false. Let's call it true, and let's print it out. And run it. True. And it could be false. But it could not be anything else, like, I don't know, 1. Yeah, that's a number, that's an integer, so it cannot be 1. And that pretty much sums up the variable implementation of in Java. That's for in Java. If it's a different coding language, it will be slightly different, but the main concept it's pretty much the same. And this is your coding with Tim, and I am signing out. And see you guys in the next episode.